2.7. Solving with rationals. I can solve equations with rational numbers.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Delene. I'm going to skip over the vocab part. We know what a rational number is. We know what an equation is. We know what an algebraic equation is. Although sometimes we ignore what an algebraic equation is, so I lied. We're not going to skip over it. Remember, algebraic equation is a number sentence with at least one variable on the same side as a number. X equals 4 plus 7 is not an algebraic equation. Yes, no?
Yes. Yeah.
There's no numbers with that X. Number 2, solving algebraic equations with variables. Number 4, self-explanatory. We've already done problems like this. We just have decimals now. Number 5, how do you undo multiplication? Okay, when I ask that question, I want everyone to answer, right? So my problem was 8 and 2/10 p is equal to 32 and 8/10. How do you undo multiplication? Division. So we showed our division. We divided both sides by 8 and 2/10. We got 4. Smart people always. Thank you. Number 6. These are the types of problems that concern me. I don't want you showing your work vertically on number 6. Again, the original problem was x over 1 and 2/10 is equal to 15. How do you undo division? Multiplication. Okay, so in this case now, we're going to multiply by 1 and 2/10. And we're going to multiply by 1 and 2/10 on both sides, and we're going to do that horizontally so we can easily cancel out our 1 and 2/10. Yes, no? Mm-hmm. Number 7. This was a lot of steps on this one. First thing we're going to do is change that mix to an improper. Yes or no? Yes. So here you go. Step 1, we change the mix to an improper. Then we solve. We're getting the variable alone, so we subtracted 5, 6 from both sides. Now, I want to see this step, you guys. We've got y equals, once we cancel this, we got 21/10 minus 5, 6. You have to find common denominators, and I want to see that. So that's why we wrote the new problem in this manner. 21/10 minus 5, 6. We got a common denominator, which gave us our equivalent fractions. We did our math, and we're good to go from there. Those are the steps I want to see. Number 8. 3/8 times x. How do you undo multiplication? Division. So is it possible to divide 3/8 by 3/8? No. So do we even have to show that? When dividing fractions?
I flip the second and multiply.
So this 3/8 flipped is your 8/3. And so if we're going to multiply by 8/3, we're going to multiply by 8/3. Yes, no?
Yes.
And number 3, I think the most important part of the whole thing. Most of you could get this answer very quickly. None of you are able to write an algebraic equation from it. Why do we write algebraic equations? Why do I want you to be able to write algebraic equations? Somebody tell me why I want you to be able to write algebraic equations, Madison.
For coding.
For coding. Coding is going to be a big part of our future. Even if you're not going to be a coder, even if you're not going to go into that part of mathematics, I still want you to know how to do it. So I wanted you to write an equation so that you could find out how big my gas tank was compared to my wife's. Or I could, if you wrote an algebraic equation correctly, you could find out how big any gas tank was compared to my wife's, right? We had a really hard time doing that. A couple of the strategies we talked about. Before even writing the equation, figure out the answer and work backwards. Make sure your answer that you get is logical. If it's not, start over. Assign the variable. In this case, I assign the variable as the size of my gas tank because that's what we're solving for. I will let you read through it and look at this problem. Ultimately, we came up with x over 15.5 equals 7/8. The size of my tank divided by the size of my wife's tank gives me 7/8. The total of my size divided by her size would be 7/8, which would be 7/8 of her tank compared to mine. Questions?